The Griffins were shut out 3-0 against the Charlotte Checkers on Friday, but on Saturday, Sebastian Kosa stepped up and stole a game that saw Grand Rapids win 5-2, even though they were outshot 40-21. Kosa adds another impressive performance in a season where he has to show that he's ready to take the next step in his NHL journey. This is your 7-Minute Wings. Welcome back to the Red Wings Report with Strings and Pucks. This is Jeremy Laura. If you haven't yet, please click subscribe and share this out. Give a like on the video. Because of you, this channel has grown by over 1,500 subs since last year at this time. Head over to hockeyhotstove.com. I write the Red Wings column, and even during the Olympic break, there's going to be some news and information with the players that Detroit has over there. But there's also writers covering the games themselves, so you'll have some great insight from them. And just another quick note, make sure you head over to Zach Stays at Home. I'll have his link in the description again, as he continues to cover Team USA women's hockey at the Olympics. I hope you got to see it, but if you didn't, the Griffins just played an intense back-to-back series. In the first game, the Griffins just couldn't get on the board. Michigan native goalie Cooper Black got his second shutout of the season against the team he grew up rooting for. So it's a huge night for him. You definitely want to cheer on. I believe he's an Alpena native, but it was tough to see him lock things down like that again. And fortunately, Saturday was a different story. The Griffins got on the board first. And if you think they have a higher rate of success when that happens, you're dead on. Bob Kaiser announced it on the broadcast that so far this season, the Griffins are undefeated when scoring first. I believe that's 26 times this year. When they score that first goal, this team, they just click to another position in a season where they're already full of confidence. This time, Charlotte was quick to respond, but fortunately, Grand Rapids scored the next 2 goals, including the game winner by Antti Tuomisto, which was a power play goal in the second period. Charlotte got back within 1 near the end of the second, and from that point on, Sebastian Kosa shut the door against wave after wave of intense play from the Checkers. If you saw the game, you know there was a notable moment that changed the entire course of the game. It looked like the Checkers had tied it up. Kosa had made a stop. It was a high shot. He had clutched it in his chest, and he went down to the butterfly to seal it. The puck trickled through and hit the ice. There was a Checkers player right behind him who tapped it into the net. However, the referee decided that the play had been blown dead and the goal was waved off. Kosa followed that lucky break with huge save after save, ultimately stopping 38 of 40, and Nate Danielson and Sheldon Dries added 2 empty net goals at the end to seal the win. Danielson's empty net goal, for whatever reason, it really stirred things up and tempers started flaring. There were players going at Danielson after he scored the goal, and he kind of waved them off. The veterans of the team stepped up, and it ultimately led to Austin Watson being tossed from the game with a misconduct. And in fine fashion, Watson saluted the Charlotte faithful on his way off the ice. It's worth noting Shai Buium had 2 assists in this one, including on the game winner by Tuomisto. Buium's skating looks like it's right back to where it was. This is the defenseman I had a check mark next to after last season. When he's on his game, Buium to me is at the front of the line for call-ups. I believe he was competing for a possible spot in camp before he was injured. I believe that Buium was competing for a spot in camp before he was injured. When Johansson gets back over, he went back to Sweden this season. He's a big right shot guy. He's over in Sweden right now. And together, he and Buium made a very physical line for the Griffins at the end of last season. Those 2 are worth keeping your eye on if he comes back at the end of this season again. And I think for Buium, if he can stay healthy, I think you do have at least a third pairing left shot defenseman. Really good shot, really good capabilities, and it looks like he's getting his game back. But the lead in this is Sebastian Kosa. Kosa entered this year determined to prove something. He was challenged by the club after last year to remove what they called the peaks and the valleys from his game. Basically, he would have a near highlight reel game, and then last season he'd have some performances that were brutal. Well, he responded. He's been incredibly consistent with a 24-2-4 record, 1.99 goals against, and .928 save percentage. He's tied for the most wins by an AHL goalie right now at 20, and he sits second in both goals against and save percentages. Drafted in the first round in 2021, Kosa is heading toward a critical part of his career. He's going to start competing for an NHL job after this season, and he looks ready to do just that. It's difficult to say whether or not he'll get a look in the NHL this season unless there's an injury. There are just 24 games left to play, and obviously Detroit's battling hard to grab a playoff spot. But he's certainly made an impression. I'm honestly shocked that he didn't get the first star in this game, because Grand Rapids doesn't win this game without Kosa's incredible performance. He's done everything the organization's asked him to do. He's consistent at a level where he's hovered between the number 1 or number 2 goalie in the AHL through the entire season. He was the AHL Goalie of the Month twice in a row. That sets some history for the club, and it says a lot about what Kosa has helped to do for this team as they have their own historic season. In net, Detroit looks good for the future. There's a lot to like. So during the Olympic break, this is a team worth looking at. We're going to follow them while they play, and I'll do any updates after they have a game. I'm also going to be looking at this historic year, not just for Grand Rapids, but for Detroit, who's had some of their best performances since the 2014-2015 season. And I'm going to try to cover it all. This was your 7-Minute Wings.